Scholarly excellence is central to what the European Research Council does, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a wonderful institution, it really is. They want to know that you're a really good scholar and that you're going to do some really good work that will last and still be really good in 50 or 100 or 200 years' time. The religious wars that took place in the 16th century and the 17th century have been for a very long time a subject of interest to historians. And our project is about investigating what people themselves living and working in these societies thought about these wars around them. Now, the particular group of people that we're concentrating on are these intellectuals, Catholic and Protestant, who taught in the great Renaissance and Reformation universities. So what we're doing fundamentally is translating a great body of this writing on warfare from Latin into English. So what we're interested in doing is comparing Reformed or Calvinist Protestants with a particular order inside the Catholic Church, the Franciscan order. Now, both of these groups of people are sometimes accused of bringing the supernatural too far into human life. They're accused of advocating religious warfare. The central theologian in the Franciscan order, John Duns Scotus, advanced the horrible, horrible opinion that it was a good idea to confiscate Jewish children from their parents and baptize them by force. So there's an example of these Franciscans saying the parents of Jewish children do have a natural right over their children, but God's right over all human beings is much greater. So these Franciscans are bringing the supernatural much further into human life than all sorts of other people thought was a good idea. And that's the kind of dispute over the proper line between the natural and the supernatural that we're interested in. And this will help us come to some higher conclusion about fundamental similarities and differences between Catholic and Protestant ways of thinking about things and ways of arguing about things. It's a great opportunity to get some really good quality work done, and it's a great opportunity to work with some really high quality scholars. And we've attracted some really superb people to Queen's to work on this project with me.
My interest in this project is the way in which models of war, religious war specifically, were developed in early modern universities throughout Roman Catholic Europe.
What I'm basically looking at is how theologians in the Scottish and English universities relied on the ideas of European theologians from the continent to basically justify resistance or to not justify resistance against King Charles I.
I mainly focus on classical scholarship and the Latin culture of early modern Europe. So my main interest is in the debates in Latin in early modern Europe on war and the supernatural.
So one of the things that's fun about looking at these different types of works is if you notice this phrase down here at the bottom, disputationum. This is part of, well, the university seminars of their day. They're doing debates. These become models for teaching. And then after these things were debated, the professor frequently would go back and edit through the disputation and make it fit for publication. And the result was, as the textbooks in front of you, what you're witnessing in the books is the distribution of early modern learning.
It's important to realize that this didn't just take place in the universities, that even the people who were discussing these ideas, they still were able to move those ideas out to lawyers, to theologians, outside of the university life as well. I think sometimes when you think about intellectual history, you can kind of question what the applicability of that is, but it was actually a much larger influence than within just the university sphere.
Our project does indeed bring a fresh interpretive principle to these old Latin sources, and using this as a way of looking more effectively at what's going on in 16th and 17th century Europe, I want to try and demonstrate that this distinction between nature and supernature is a good framework for understanding early modern Europe. I think it helps us to understand that very foreign society better. I think anything that helps us to understand our modern secular category, this space in which we interact in our modern states, is a good thing. And I think anything that emphasizes that high quality scholarship, which takes a long time and involves knowing lots of hard foreign languages, is also a good thing. So in terms of contribution to wider society, I think those are two things which we have covered quite well.